Okay, so let's say you're choosing an outfit for the day and you have a top that's, I don't know, green and red. You have a green top and a red top. And your bottom choices are a skirt, pants, and shorts. And you have white running shoes and blue running shoes. So, and let's say the question asks you to pick a model for choosing an outfit, which would be a systematic list, an area model, or a tree diagram. Let's test all three out and see which one would work the best. So, as far as a systematic list, you would want to have, in this case, 3 categories, being your top, your bottom, and your shoes. So I'm just going to abbreviate each of these so I don't have to write out each of the words. So green will be G, red will be R, skirt will be SK, pants will be P, shorts will be SH, shoes will be white, or the white shoes will be W, and blue will be B. So let's start with a green top. So let's say you're choosing to go with your green top. So you'd write G in the top column, and then for bottoms, you could do a skirt, and shoes, you could do your white shoes. And another combination you could still have your green top, but you could do pants and white shoes. And again, you could still have your green top, but do shorts and white shoes. And then you could have still a green top and do a skirt and blue shoes, and then pants and blue shoes, and shorts and blue shoes, all with a green top. So that's kind of your end of green tops. Those are all the combinations you can have. Now, you could do the same thing with red and go through each one, but that seems like it would take a long time, and that's a little bit unnecessary. So a better way that you can do this would be the tree diagram. So the tree diagram, basically, you start from, nothing, because you haven't picked anything yet. And in this case, you have 2 top options, green and red. And from those 2 options, you can have one of 3 bottoms. So for each of these, you would have 3 little branch kind of things coming off of it. So you could have a skirt, pants, or shorts. And now each of these can have 2 types of shoes, white or blue. So that was way quicker than doing this, because you'd have to go through every single possibility and write it all down here. But using a tree diagram, this seems like it would be the most efficient. And I'll come back to the tree diagram and explain a little bit more about this in a minute. But as far as an area model comes, an area model can only sustain 2 different probabilities. So basically that means if you have an area model like this, you can only pick 2 of these categories, so you know off the bat that in this situation, an area model would not work very well. You'd have to use a whole bunch of different ones, and it's just a mess. So just for the purposes of showing an area model, let's go with, I don't know, a top and shoes. So let's forget the bottoms for a minute. So this is your top and your shoes. So you can have a green top and a red top and white shoes or blue shoes. So the combinations between these would be green and white, red and white, green and blue, and red and blue. So that's basically how an area model works. But in this situation, an area model is just not the best option, so we're not going to go with an area model. A systematic list would just take too long, so we're not going to go with a systematic list. So that means our tree diagram is the one we're going to go with. And when you're picking which model to use to represent probabilities, it's best if you're not really sure off the bat, to just go through each one, at least mentally, and just see which one you think would work best. Usually, I'd say in cases where there's like a lot of options, and I'd say this is a decent amount of options, to go with the tree diagram just because it's way easier to draw. And when you're drawing a tree diagram, for your own reference, if a question asks you to draw a tree diagram, you have to write everything out. But if it doesn't, then it might be, you don't even have to rewrite white and blue because you already know that it's white and blue. So just like if you need a time saver on a test, this might work best. I don't know. I think this one works best in most case scenarios, but go through each one and see which would be just overall the best. So if you're dealing with something like money and coins, you might want to use a systematic list. Like if you have to get to 25 cents and you don't have any quarters, a systematic list might work. But other than that, just like go through each one and just logically think, okay, which one would work best? Because I don't know all the case scenarios that could be on a test. So just remember that an area model only works with 2 categories. So if you have more than 2 categories, an area model probably won't work. Yeah.